Jai Gurudev. Is everybody up to speed? Yeah? Okay. So this is a continuation from last time. So till page 268 and 269 we completed last time. So on page 269, if you remember, we spoke about notion and manifestation. Yeah, how out of a notion everything manifested. Yeah, on the same lines we are continuing. So your train of thought should be the same. First there is a notion, and immediately there is a manifestation. The manifestation and notion happens almost simultaneously. Yeah? Though manifestation is an output of notion, but it happens as instantly as your dream. Yeah? You have a notion of pizza and you see pizza. Yeah? There is hardly any time lapse. So they happen almost simultaneously. So, continuing on the same thought, let's read page 270. Who's going to read?
I can read.
Okay.
Vasistha continued. Just as the cosmic body, composed of the intelligence, energy, and the cosmic elements, or the first Puryasaka, cosmic subtle body, arose in the infinite consciousness as an ocean, all the other bodies, Puryasaka, also arise in the same manner. Whatever the jiva, which is the Puryasaka or the subtle body, conceives of while still in the womb, that it sees as existent. Just as in the macrocosm, the cosmic elements evolve, even so in the microcosm, the senses corresponding to those elements evolve. Of course, they are not actually created. These expressions and descriptions are used merely for the sake of instruction. These ideas which are used in instruction are dispelled by the inquiry which they initially promote and prompt.
Okay. So this is the same continuation from last time. We had done the notion of I am, and then the jiva comes. The notion of different things of the body, the physical body comes. The notion of the mind and thoughts come. So that's how manifestation happened. We saw everything last time. Now it is just as the cosmic body or the first Puryastaka arose in the infinite consciousness as a notion, all the other bodies, Puryastaka, also arise in the same manner. So what he's saying here, the first body, yeah, it's called Brahma Puryastaka in Sanskrit. The first body that comes out is called Brahma Puryastaka. The word is there right on the top in the shloka, Brahma Puryastaka. Yeah? So Brahma Puryastaka is the first body that comes out of the pool of consciousness. The pool of consciousness is like a womb. You are in that womb. Yeah? And the first cosmic body generates intelligence, and it generates the first 5 elements: earth, water, fire, ether, air. Obviously, the first amongst them is ether element or space element. So the first body that comes out is called the cosmic body. Just like the first cosmic body comes out, like that only, many different Puryastaka follow the similar procedure. So from notion, I want to be ether, or I am ether, immediately manifestation of ether element happens. Even before I am ether, what is it that will even propel such a desire of I am ether? Is the intelligence principle. Yeah? So first there is intelligence. The notion of intelligence is there, and then the manifestation. So we had this table from last time. Yeah, you have to add notion, intelligence, and then the manifestation of intelligence. Yeah? And then you have to add notion of, I won't write everything, you can write it. So there's notion of intelligence and manifestation of the intellect. First this happens, and then there is in this intelligence principle of the universe, which is its nature. Yeah? In that nature itself, the thought of I am space. Yeah? That I am space or ether manifests as the ether element or space element. Got it? Similarly, you follow everything. I am, after ether will be air, then will be water, then will be earth, and then will be fire. Yeah, you just write I am, and you will get the elements here. Clear? Cosmic body is the first body that comes out, or this is the cosmic Puryastaka, the first Puryastaka that comes out. Yeah? Notion and manifestation happen almost simultaneously. Just like in my dream, if I wanted to see something or be somewhere and I could not go there today, all day in my head that thing is there, oh, I wanted to go to the river walk, I couldn't go to the river walk, I couldn't go to the river walk. This is a notion. Yeah? When I go to sleep, immediately I see myself walking by the river walk. Notion and manifestation. Got it? So the way it happens in dreams, he says this universe is also like that. Everything happens as if in a dream. And this is the first Puryastaka or Brahma Puryastaka that comes out. Just like Brahma Puryastaka comes, similarly all the other little Puryastaka come out. Yeah? I want to be a tree, I want to be an animal, I want to be this one's friend. Yeah? Rupa said, I want to be Rupa. So Sandesh said, now I want to be Rupa's husband. So then he came. Yeah? So that's how one Puryastaka jumps out of the pool of consciousness. So that pool of consciousness is like the womb. Inside the womb, whatever notion you have, that notion manifests outside in the material world. Clear? Just as the cosmic body composed of the intelligence energy and the cosmic elements, or the first Puryastaka, which is the cosmic subtle body, arose in the infinite consciousness as a notion, just like that, all the other bodies or Puryastaka also arise in the same manner. Whatever the Jiva, which is the Puryastaka or subtle body, conceives of while still in the womb, that it sees as existent. Just as in the macrocosm the cosmic elements evolve, even so in the microcosm the senses corresponding to those elements evolve. So what is this? Here in the macrocosm, earth, water, fire, ether, air has evolved. Microcosm is nothing but that subtle body, the tanmatra of space element. You remember we've done the tanmatras? Yeah? Tanmatra of air element, tanmatra of water element, tanmatra of earth, and tanmatra of fire. Tanmatra of fire helps with the sense of sight. Yeah? Tanmatra of water helps with the sense of taste. It corresponds to the tanmatra of sense of taste. Tanmatra of air corresponds to the sense of touch. Where are these tanmatras happening? In the microcosm, means in the Puryastaka. Yeah? And macrocosm means in the outside physical world. Got the difference? Of course, they are not actually created. These expressions and descriptions are used merely for the sake of instruction. These ideas which are used in instruction are dispelled by the inquiry which they initially promote and prompt. Means what? When you go into a state of inquiry, actually observing who am I, just observing yourself. This microcosm, if you can observe in its entirety, this is sufficient to give you an idea of what the macrocosm is. And then you will see the futility of this samsara. The moment the futility of this samsara becomes apparent, ignorance or maya drops away. Got it? These ideas which are used in instruction are dispelled. The moment maya drops, all this notion, manifestation, all these ideas, puryastaka, everything will drop away. Just by inquiry. And all you will really see is that you are that pure consciousness. Clear? First paragraph. Good? Okay. Now we can read the rest of the page.
Even when you observe this ignorance very carefully and keenly, you do not see it, it vanishes. The unreal is rooted in unreality. Sorry. We only talk of water in the mirage. The water in the mirage, being unreal, has never been water at all. In the light of truth, the reality of all things is revealed, and the delusion or the illusionary perception vanishes. The self is real, jiva. The self is real. Jiva, puryastaka, the subtle body, and all the rest of it are unreal. And the inquiry into their nature is no doubt inquiry into their unreality. It is in order to instruct one in the real nature of the unreality that such expressions as jiva, etc. are used. This infinite consciousness has, as it were, assumed the nature of the jiva, and oblivious of its true nature, it experiences whatever it thinks of as being. Even as to the child, the unreal ghost it visualizes at night is truly real. The jiva conceives of the 5 elements which it sees as existing. These are nothing but notions of the jiva. However, the jiva sees them as if they are outside it. It thinks that some are within and others are outside of it, and also it experiences them. Knowledge is inherent in consciousness, even as void is in space. However, consciousness now believes knowledge to be its own subject. The diverse objects are limited by time and space, which are themselves but the notional division in the consciousness brought about by this division of consciousness and knowledge as subject and object within itself. Such division does not exist in the self, which transcends time and space. However, the infinite consciousness, with the knowledge inherent in it, conceives of diverse creatures. Such is its power, which no one can challenge. The inert space is unable to reflect itself within itself. But because its nature is infinite consciousness, Brahman reflects itself within itself and conceives of itself as a duality, though it is bodiless.
Even when you observe this ignorance very carefully and keenly, you do not see it. It vanishes. What is the meaning of that? See, the key word here is observing. When you start observing reality as it is, Even when we were doing our simple meditation of just observing every body part, just observing, and then observing the mind and observing the contents of the mind, just pure observation, no judgments, no analysis, no justifications, just observe. What happens by observing? The mind drops. Yeah, just by observing the entire body, you will observe certain pain, certain sensations come, go, come, go, come, go. It gives you a proper understanding that everything is really temporary. Nothing is permanent. Suddenly the mind is feeling happy, suddenly it is sad, suddenly there are sensations in the body, suddenly there are no sensations, there is pain, that pain also goes away. Everything is just like a movie, it is moving. And it brings you to that truth, that understanding that nothing is permanent. Even what you think is permanent is really impermanent. Just this recognition makes you understand, oh, that which is not permanent, how can that be real? Yeah, it is all unreal. There is no reality in this. So, even when you observe this ignorance very carefully and keenly, you do not see it, it vanishes. The unreal is rooted in unreality. We only talk of water in the mirage. The water in the mirage, being unreal, has never been water at all. In the light of truth, the reality of all things is revealed and delusion or illusory perception vanishes. Yeah? When all this is changing constantly, how is it real? Only that which can be permanent can be real, no? It is constantly changing. It is unreal. When that unreality becomes very clear and you become well established in that unreality, you realize that it is nothing but water in a mirage. Yeah? Neither does the water exist, nor does the mirage exist. All these people, situations, things in my life, they are all a making of my own mind. The moment I wake up to this, everything drops like a mirage. The self is real. Jiva, Puryastaka, subtle body, all the rest of it are unreal. And the inquiry into their nature is no doubt inquiry into their unreality. It is in order to instruct one in the real nature of the unreality that such expressions as jiva, etc. are used. Yeah, these are only expressions. They are only meant to help you go deeper into your own meditation. Yeah, this knowledge is why, so that you really make that attempt. Okay, I will sit and just see who am I. Yeah, just be. I will just be. I will do nothing. Can you just be? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's all close our eyes. Close our eyes. Everybody. And sit absolutely still. And just be. Don't do anything. Don't even move a finger. Don't even breathe intentionally. Just see it is naturally happening. Breath is going in and it's moving out. The stomach is rising and it is falling. See how the heart is beating on its own. Just be. Don't even think. Even a thought is burden. take a deep breath in, and when you breathe out, slowly become aware and open your eyes. Can you practice just being? With this practice of just being, doing nothing, not even thinking, no logic, no intellect, no emotion, just being. Just being in that nothingness, you will start recognizing, who am I? Yeah? So all these instructions are given to you so that you go deeper into your meditation, deeper into your practice, and start really on the path of self-inquiry. So that's your homework number 1 for today. See, we didn't even do it for 3 minutes. Yeah? Less than 3-4 minutes. You can do this any time of the day. Just be. Yeah? And homework number 2. Ask yourself this question. Have you started your path of self-inquiry of who am I? This infinite consciousness has, as it were, assumed the nature of the jiva, and oblivious of its true nature, it experiences whatever it thinks of as being. Even as to the child, the unreal ghost it visualizes at night is truly real. The jiva conceives of the 5 elements which it sees as existing. These are nothing but notions of the jiva. However, the jiva sees them as if they are outside it. It thinks that some are within and others are outside of it, and so it experiences them. Yeah? Very clearly he is saying that whatever you are experiencing today, people, situations, things, are all a creation of your mind. So when you were in the womb, you were the one to imagine these people or desire for these people. That's why you are with these people. Similarly, you have desired for that particular situation. It might be a bad situation. Maybe you were fearful of that situation. Even fear is like a magnet. It attracts. Yeah? So whatever the jiva has a notion of, that is what manifests. Yeah? These are all nothing but notions of the jiva, and you see it outside. You think some are within and some are outside. Yeah? But actually everything is your own mind-made stuff. It is all a dream. Knowledge is inherent in consciousness, even as void is in space. This is beautiful, huh? Space is the element, and the quality of this space element is void, is nothingness. Yeah? Like that only consciousness has a quality of its own, and that is knowledge. Yeah? Just like you cannot say void and space are separate. They seem to be one and the same. They are one and the same actually. Just like that, knowledge and consciousness are one and the same. Yeah? Better than knowledge, you can say knowingness. Yeah? This knowingness is there as a part of Brahman consciousness. All knowingness is there. That is why when you sit and meditate, you can acquire that siddhi of downloading, different kinds of knowledge of the universe. Yeah, Ayurveda was downloaded by rishis like that. Yes, so knowledge is a quality of the consciousness. It is not separate from it. However, consciousness now believes knowledge to be its own object. The diverse objects are limited by time and space, which are themselves but the notional division in consciousness brought about by this division within itself. Such division does not exist in the self, which transcends time and space. So basically all they are saying, just like void and space are the same thing, like that only consciousness and knowledge are the same thing. But because of Maya, consciousness sees knowledge as separate. Yeah? They become two, there is Dvaitam, but really there is no Dvaitam. It is only an illusion. It is only Maya. However, the infinite consciousness, with the knowledge inherent in it, conceives of diverse creatures. Such is its power, which no one can challenge. The inert space is unable to reflect itself within itself. But because its nature is infinite, consciousness, Brahman, reflects itself within itself and conceives of itself as a duality, though it is bodiless. So, all this knowledge notion is nothing but knowledge. Yeah? Within the consciousness only, a jiva arose, a puryastaka arose and had this notion. Yeah? Separation happened inside that consciousness. It's like saying this, in this space, void became separate and space became separate. Sounds so funny, right? Just like that, we are saying that knowledge or this notion came up in consciousness. He's equating consciousness with space. Are you getting this? Yeah. So he's saying it really doesn't make sense to see them as subject and object. They are one and the same. Yeah? It is all Maya, because of which Brahman reflects itself within itself and conceives of itself as a duality, though it is bodiless. Yeah? It is all a dream basically. Just like in your dream, you dream of somebody else. That person is not there, but you are dreaming. Yeah? So it's like that only. The consciousness is divided into knowledge and consciousness. Because of knowledge, I am air, I become air. Or I am water, I become water. Are you understanding here what is knowledge? This knowingness, this notion and manifestation will come under the umbrella of knowledge. Yeah? If that helps. Clear? This page is clear? Go to page 271. Who will read now?
Shishta continue. Whatever this conscious thinks of, that it sees as existing. Its concepts and notions are never barren. In a golden bracelet, there are these two, gold and bracelet, one being the reality, the gold, and the other being the appearance of bracelet. Even so, in the self, there are both consciousness and the notion of material, inner substantiality. Since consciousness is omnipresent, it is ever present in the mind in which the notion arises. The dreamer dreams of a village which occupies his mind and in which he lives for the time being. A little later, he dreams of another situation and thinks he lives there. Even so, the jiva goes from one body to another. The body is but the reflection of the notion entertained by the jiva. The unreal body alone dies, and it is unreal that is born again, apparently in another body. Just as in the dream one experiences things seen and unseen, even so in the dream of the jiva, it experiences the world and even sees what is to come in the future. Even as an error yesterday can be rectified and turned into a good action by self-effort today. The habits of the past can be overcome by appropriate self-effort. However, the notion of jiva, wood, and of the existence and functioning of the eyes, etc., cannot be abolished except by the attainment of liberation. Till then, they become alternately latent and patent.
So this is more of a repetition. Today I don't have a bracelet. I can show you a ring. Whatever this consciousness thinks of, that it sees as existing. Its concepts and notions are never barren. Yeah, this is a very important line. Whatever you think manifests. So even if you think, oh, I don't want this, it will manifest 100%. That is the meaning of this first line. Whatever your concept, your notions are, they will manifest. That is why, especially after you've started walking the path of spirituality, be very cautious about what you're thinking. Yeah? It will definitely manifest. If not in this body, in the next body. If not in this and the next body, the body after that. But it will definitely manifest. Yeah? In a golden bracelet, there are these two, gold and bracelet. One being the reality gold and the other being the appearance of bracelet. Even so, in the self, there are both consciousness and the notion of material substantiality. Since consciousness is omnipresent, it is ever present in the mind in which the notion arises. So here, Aditya got me a bracelet. It is not gold, but you imagine it as gold. Yeah, in the golden bracelet, yeah, there are two. There is gold, just pure gold, the metal gold, and there is this bracelet. Really, if a jeweler looks at this ring and looks at earrings, he will say, oh, all this is gold. He does not care what bracelet, ring, yeah, all these different things. A jeweler will say, all this is gold. So what is the reality of this? It is gold. Yeah, but you see it as bracelet. You see it as bangle. You see it as ring. You see it as earring. Are you getting what he's trying to say here? Everything is consciousness. You see it as a person. You see it as a tree. You see it as a computer. You see it as a table. You see it as a book. But it is essentially just the consciousness, the Brahman consciousness. Yeah. So, if a real wise jeweler of the mind, yeah, or a spiritual jeweler will say, all this is consciousness. Even so, in the self, there are both consciousness and the notion of material substantiality. So here, consciousness is gold and the notion of material substantiality is bracelet. Got it? Earth, water, fire, ether, air, all these have come from notions. These notions are material substantiality, the notion of material substantiality. And consciousness is gold. Clear? Since consciousness is omnipresent, it is ever present in the mind in which the notion arises. The dreamer dreams of a village which occupies his mind and in which he lives for the time being. A little later, he dreams of another situation and thinks he lives there. Even so, the jiva goes from one body to another. The body is but the reflection of the notion entertained by the jiva. Homework number 1 for you. Do you have a strong notion that, oh, I didn't do this in this lifetime? Yeah, I should have done this. I could have gone to a better college. Could have gone to a better university. I could have gotten married to that guy or that girl. Yeah. If you have some very strong notion, be worried what you are doing. What is going to happen? Next body. You are creating your own story, your own film reel. Yeah, that's what he is telling you here. So homework number 3 for today. Is there some very strong notion that you have about life? Yeah, identify it. And number 2, if you recognize, start working on dropping it, letting it go. Yeah. The stronger you hold on to even a small notion, oh, I could not do this puja of God, I could not complete that kind of worship, I did not climb, I don't know what is that mandir you go up, some 14,000 steps, Vaishno Devi. Yeah, I didn't do Tirath Yatra, I didn't go to the Ganga. Oh, what things, what notions you could have. Yeah, or you say, one day in my life I am going to see Alaska. I am going to go to Alaska. Such things, what happens? The seed goes and sits in your consciousness, and that will manifest. And if that manifestation does not happen in this body, I will have to take another body just to come and see Alaska. Yeah, so you become warrior of your own notions, huh? That's your homework number 3. Even so, the jiva goes from one body to another. The body is but the reflection of the notion entertained by the jiva. The unreal body alone dies, and it is the unreal that is born again, apparently in another body. Just as in the dream, one experiences things seen and unseen. Even so in the dream of the jiva, it experiences the world and even sees what is to come in the future. Yeah? So you really know your future. If you have this big trishna, oh, in this lifetime I did not become a billionaire, I didn't go to that Ivy League school and start my business that I was going to start 20 years ago. Remember what you are doing. Yeah, you're going to come back to do that. So recognize if you have some burning desire. Huh? Even as an error yesterday can be rectified and turned into a good action by self-effort today, the habits of the past can be overcome by appropriate self-effort. Yeah? He's giving you an indication. If it is a little, just a habit of yours, oh, wish I was there, wish I had done that. Yeah? Why am I living with you? What did I do with my life? You know, all these kind of bad habits that you have just for the sake of telling your spouse how unhappy you are with him or her. Yeah? I could have done that better. You don't really mean it also. You're just saying it because you want to poke his or her ego. But it leaves an impression in your consciousness. Yeah? Work on your habits. Get out of them. However, the notion of jivahood and of the existence and functioning of the eyes, etc. etc. means functioning of eyes, functioning of ears, functioning of nose, basically coming back into body. Got it? cannot be abolished except by the attainment of liberation. Highlight this line. Yeah? If I am living in this body, I have 80-90 years lifespan. Yeah? I don't know how much I'm going to live, but even right now, if I have identified I have a bad habit of creating a notion, oh, I could have done this better or I could have done that better, and I keep telling or keep saying it, it's a bad habit, I can work on it now and drop it and be done with that notion that I'm creating. Yeah? But if this notion becomes a very strong sanskara and sits in my sands of consciousness, it cannot be eradicated because I'm not working on eradicating the habit pattern. I will have to come back into body. That is what he is saying. It cannot be abolished except by the attainment of liberation. Till then they become alternately latent and patent. Latent, you understand? It sits in the consciousness as a seed. Patent, that seed sprouts. Latent and patent. Latent again and patent. The cycle continues. New notion, it becomes latent in my consciousness. Sits there for so many years. Yeah, and then when the time comes, again I take a body, it becomes patent. It sprouts. Clear? We'll read ahead now.
A notion entertained by consciousness appears as the body. It has corresponding subtle body, Ativahika, which is also known as Puryastaka, composed of mind, intellect, ego sense, and the 5 elements. The self is formless, but the Puryastaka roams in this creation, in sentient and insentient bodies until it purifies itself, lives as if in deep sleep and attains liberation. The subtle body exists all the time, during dreams and during sleep. It continues to exist in insentient bodies, like inanimate objects, as if it were in deep sleep. All these are also experienced in this human body. Its deep sleep state is inert and insentient. Its dream state is the experience of this creation. Its walking state is truly the transcendental, Turiya, consciousness, and the realization of the truth is liberation. The state of liberation while living is itself the Turiya consciousness. Beyond that is Brahman, which is Turiya Atita, beyond Turiya. In every atom of existence, there is naught else than the Supreme Being. Wherever the world is seen, that is but an illusory world appearance. This illusion, and therefore bondage, is sustained by psychological conditioning. Such conditioning is bondage, and its abandonment is freedom. Dense and heavy conditioning is existence as inert objects, middling conditioning as animal, and thin conditioning as humans. But enough of the perception of division. The whole universe is but the manifestation of the energy of infinite consciousness.
A notion entertained by consciousness appears as the body. It has a corresponding subtle body, Ativahika, which is also known as Puryastaka, composed of mind, intellect, ego, and the 5 elements. We have done this. Yeah? There is the physical body, there is the subtle body, and there is the causal body. Physical body, obviously what you see, yeah? Whether it is a human, animal, tree, there is a physical body. The physical body has a corresponding subtle body called the Ativahika or the Puryastaka, or the mind, or intellect, memory, ego. Yeah, all these together form the Puryastaka and the Tanmatras of the 5 elements. Physical body is anyway a combination of earth, water, fire, ether, air. The Tanmatras of earth, water, fire, ether, air also exist in Puryastaka. Clear? Yeah, so far very clear. Now the third is the causal body, which is the self or the soul. The self is formless, but the Puryastaka roams in this creation in sentient and insentient bodies until it purifies itself. Yeah. So, right now you are in a human realm of existence. So, you have a physical body. Yeah. Maybe you have good karma. You could go higher to the Pitru Loka. Yeah, and exist in the Pitru Loka for some time, or even higher, maybe to the Swarga Loka. When you go to the Pitru Loka, Swarga Loka, the higher lokas, you don't have a physical body. No external manifestation of earth, water, fire, ether, air, but Puryastaka is there. The subtle body, mind, which we call the mind, intellect, memory, ego, all that is there. Yeah. Just the physical body is not there. Got it? That is called the insentient being or the insentient existence of yours. If you come back into the human body, that will be the sentient existence. Yeah? You could go even to the lower talas. You remember there are 7 talas and there are 7 lokas, total 14 worlds. We've done this before. Yeah. So you could go even to the lower talas. There also you could have certain kind of bodies and certain formless, means there is no body, no physical body, but the Puryastaka is there. Clear? So depending on your karma, you go into sentient or insentient existence. Until it purifies itself, lives as if in deep sleep and attains liberation. Yeah? Purification is the only way out of this cycle of birth and death. Yeah? Even if you are not born in the physical form, even if you are in that subtle form, you are still born. You are still with all your dukkhas, you're with that same mind, that grossness, that anger, jealousy, hatred, all that drama which is there, that still exists even when you are in that Puryastaka, just in the insentient existence. So the dukkha is still there. The only way out of this dukkha is to attain liberation, and the only way you will attain liberation is through Turyavastha, yeah, which is a deep sleep-like state but with awareness. This we have discussed before. In the night also I sleep, I go into deep sleep, but I am unconscious. So I don't touch Turyavastha. If I can maintain my sharpness of awareness even in the deep sleep state, I will attain Turyavastha and attain liberation. So that is the meaning of lives as if in deep sleep and attains liberation. The subtle body exists all the time, during dreams and during sleep. It continues to exist in insentient bodies, yeah, like inanimate objects, as if it were in deep sleep. Yeah. So you could be in the Pitra Loka, or you could be in a lower Loka, in a lower Tala, where you don't have a physical form, but you're almost like dead. Yeah? As if in deep sleep, you are insentient, you don't have a physical body. All these are also experienced in this human body. Its deep sleep state is inert and insentient. Its dream state is the experience of this creation. And its waking state is truly the transcendental Turiya consciousness. Yeah? Sometimes you are very gross, very inert. Sometimes you're totally gone, as if even if you're sitting with your eyes open, you're so tired, you're so lazy, there's so much heaviness, so much tamas, as if you are in a deep sleep state, you're inert. Yeah? That deep sleep state not only happens in the night when you sleep, it happens during the day like this. Yeah? When you are looking at everybody, people, situations, things, you're lost in this Maya, you're lost in this creation, you are in the dream-like state of this body, of this existence of this body. Yeah? And you come into the Turiya Avastha, or that waking state of consciousness when you meditate and you attain that awareness inside. Yeah? When you sharpen and chisel your awareness to that state where you attain that highest potential of this human body, that is called waking state of the body. Did you understand this? Yeah? This deep sleep state, dreaming state and waking state of this lifetime of this body I was talking about. Yeah? So make an effort. That is the only thing worth striving, I tell you. Make an effort if you have not started making an effort yet. Yeah? And the realization of the truth is liberation. The state of liberation by living is itself the Turiya consciousness. So, while living, I can attain Turiya consciousness of complete awareness. Beyond that is Brahman, which is Turiya Atita, beyond Turiya. In every atom of existence, there is nothing else than the Supreme Being. Wherever the world is seen, that is but an illusory world appearance. Got it? In this body, in this lifetime of 60, 70, 80 years, I go into a dream-like state 99% of my life. I think this person is real. This drama happening between this person and this person is real. This is all my dream-like state. When in that 1% I sit down, meditate and experience that pure nothingness inside, there I have touched that waking state of mine. It might be just 1% of this entire lifetime, but at least touch that Turiya Avastha. At least make an effort to reach Turiya Avastha. Then when you drop this body, very easily you will attain Turiya Atita. Yeah? To attain Turiya Atita, a glimpse, a taste of Turiya is essential before death. Yeah? Otherwise, you will not understand the importance when you die, when you move on from this body. So a taste must happen. Yeah? For that, meditate. Just sit and meditate.
I have a question.
Huh.
So what you're saying is you don't need to be in. I'm just trying to find a way out. You don't need to be in Turiya Avastha all along to reach Turiya Atita, or am I wrong? So even if you get a glimpse, it's a possibility that you can go beyond?
So remember I used to talk about the window of liberation?
Yeah.
Yeah? That window of liberation is my chance to leap and dive into the pool of Turiya Atita. But how will I recognize that window of liberation if I have not even experienced a little Turiya in this lifetime? Yeah? If I have a little bit also taste of Rasgulla, When I see Rasgulla, I know, yes, Rasgulla. But if I've never tasted Rasgulla, I will feel, oh, that raga and my dvesha, oh, gulab jam is more attractive. You see what I'm saying? You have to taste it to recognize it during that little window of liberation. That is Turya Atita that he's talking about again and again to you. At the end of every life cycle, when this body drops, you are given one chance to dive into that Turya Atita. But along with that one chance comes all your ancestors, comes all your raga dvesha. Everything comes together. And the wise one has to pick and choose, because there is one chance, just one chance. One option. If you pick the wrong option out of raga and dvesha, you lose that chance and you are lost again into one more full life cycle. One more notional cycle of sleep, dream, wake up, sleep, dream, wake up, and lost in it. Again you will have to come into this body. Again you'll have to go through all this drama. And again at that end you will get one chance for Turya Atita. But to recognize Turya Atita, I need to become very, very strong in my experience of Turya. So even if, you remember a few pages ago he said, your meditation, even if it has been really, really strong for a few seconds. Yeah, you remember that page where even few seconds, fractions of seconds, you have experienced no mind. Yeah, you have touched Turya. But very, very few people, even with years of meditation, barely touch that no mind. Yeah. So it is a very invaluable experience once you get it. But it is very, very difficult to achieve. It requires a lot of practice. Got it? So I'm not saying that, I don't know what you interpreted, but what I am saying is Turya will give you an idea, make you stronger to recognize that window and not make that mistake. Yeah? The state of liberation while living is itself the Turiya consciousness. Got it? The state of liberation while living. Beyond that is Brahman, which is Turiya Atita. In every atom of existence there is naught else than the Supreme Being. Wherever the world is seen, that is but an illusory world appearance. This illusion and therefore bondage is sustained by psychological conditioning. Such conditioning is bondage and its abandonment is freedom. Dense and heavy conditioning is existence as inert objects, middling conditioning as animals, and thin conditioning as humans. So basically we are at thin conditioning. We've obviously gone through the dense and the middling conditioning before. But does this mean that I will not go back there? I can go back there. Yeah. So start observing yourself. How is your conditioning? And don't blame it on your upbringing or on your parents. Yes, it is mainly because of your own ragas and dveshas and you encouraging your own ragas and dveshas. They are only going to come up at that last moment during that window of liberation. Your conditioning is going to haunt you